Hi everyone, welcome. All right, I'm trying to find a place to make this bigger, but it's not going to, so we shall.
Hello. We shall go from here.
It's been so long since I've done one of these, and there you go. It's a bit better. I'm super excited to be here with you all. It's going to be fun. Today's going to be really fun. I have been learning so much, like so much about myself, about my business, about life, about how much I'm worth, and the lessons and the breakthroughs, the ahas that I've been having today and in the last 3 days especially have been nothing short of life-changing. So if you've been following along here for a while, you will know that personal growth, transformation, becoming the best version of myself, embodying the truth of who I really am. I'm just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to drop in and take a breath because there was a little bit of stuff happening before the live and it just took me ages to get on and then it went live really quickly. So I'm just going to drop in. Okay, I'm good. So my MO is like personal growth, transformation, everything like becoming the embodiment of who I really am. So just then, like what happened, I could feel that I was in a little bit of like shadow and still feeling like a little bit victim-y. And I just dropped in. It's so quick now. It's beautiful. It takes me like a second to drop into the truth of who I really am and speak from this space. And that doesn't mean that I'm completely clear of shadow and that what's coming through is like 100% clear all of the time. But what it means is that this is becoming clearer and clearer, and I'm becoming a clearer and clearer channel and a deeper and deeper embodiment of who I'm here to be. So the best way I can describe it is like I am, and who you are as well, who we really are, who I really am, is this magnificent jewel sitting in the middle of this beautiful forest. And what happens is when we enter this world of 3D, we get coated with a lot of shadow. The way that I understand it is we get coated with a lot of shadow and we forget that we are this incredible being and this incredible jewel sitting in the middle of a forest. And we go looking in the forest and around the forest and through the foggy, murky, hazy depths of the forest for our true value and our true worth, instead of knowing that it's who we were all along. So this process of clearing the shadow, alchemizing the shadow, becoming who I really am, is really a process of remembering that I am the jewel. And it's this beautiful, like, yeah, it's the process for me, honestly, at the moment is a lot of like realizing how much I have been wandering around in the shadows, looking at and taking inventory and taking stock of all the places in my life where I have been and am still in some areas of my life, looking for my worth in the shadows and looking for permission to be who I really am in the shadows. A big, like a huge piece for me that's been coming up lately is around resources and money and showing up in my inner child rather than showing up as my powerful sovereign and the truth of who I really am. So what that looks like is, and for those of you that haven't done any of this work before, just know that I'm going off a lot of my work that I do is based on, at the moment, Lorna Gabriel's The Dark Secret, and her tool, it's called Shadow Alchemy. So you can go and look those things up by yourself when you're ready. A lot of what's coming up for me right now is the child archetype. So looking to others for permission to be who I really am, outsourcing my ability to take care of myself and the privilege of taking care of myself to people other than me. And I won't get into the fullness of it, but just know that that has been a massive challenge for me. And I'm really working on coming back to the truth of the sovereign. So the sovereign is the queen, right? The part of us, or the truth of who we really are, the archetypal energy, the place from, the channel that we convert energy into matter is like, and the queen or the sovereign says things like, this is who I am. This is the truth. This is my decree. So the powerful sovereign is, and I'm still getting my head around this, you can probably tell I'm still figuring it out, but it's the channel of expressing who we really are and telling ourselves the truth about who we really are. So what I've done for so long, and also telling ourselves the truth about what we're capable of. What I've done for so long is look to other people to tell me not only what I'm worthy of and where my value is and how valuable I am, but looking to the outside world to tell me who I am. And like going to workshops and being like, well, can you define me? Like, am I a seer? Am I a healer? Am I a leader? Am I this? Rather than like sitting like fully in the throne of who I really am and the knowledge of my own identity and saying from that place, this is who I am. This is such a powerful place to then make decrees in the rest of our lives. And this is something that I'm working on and moving into at the moment. Another channel or another, I guess, area of our lives that is dictated by the sovereign is taking care of ourselves and our well-being. And this is something that I'm getting so much better at every single day. But I used to outsource my well-being. I used to say, okay, well, I'm going to make other people responsible for taking care of me. So, and this looks like so many ways. I used to be like, and I've still done this in some ways, in some respects. I'm going to like allow I'm going to allow my mom to take care of me, or I'm going to allow my boyfriend to take care of me, my partners. I'm going to allow the government or the healthcare system to take care of me. And that, in a lot of respect, what it is, it's the child. It's the shadow of like, the child shadow believes I can't take care of myself. And so I have to outsource my well-being to other people. For me, this has been such a beautiful journey, and kind of why I'm very much still journeying it at the moment. The challenge of reclaiming that power and really stepping into the truth, like I said before, of the powerful sovereign and saying, my own well-being is my responsibility and no one else's. And one of the truths that comes out of this is nobody else's thoughts, words, or actions have any power over my well-being, happiness, or sense of self-worth or identity. So it is like this full-blown radical responsibility of, like, for me, it's just been huge, because it's like, okay, well, if I'm having an emotional reaction, that's my responsibility and that's my choice to feel like that. Once you get to a point where you're moving beyond the initial trigger and like unconsciously lashing out and getting triggered all the time and lashing out at other people, and you start to take responsibility for literally every single experience that you have. So you might be like triggered by what someone says online. I might be triggered by something that my mom says. As soon as I take full responsibility for that, then the awareness kicks in of like, oh, okay, so I'm feeling this sensation in my body. I can choose to feel that, or that's a little bit more of a time-consuming process, but it's still an option that we have. Or I can just blow straight past it. Like, I also have the choice to numb it if I want to. I can just be like, no, I don't want to feel this right now, and numb it. I can choose to like jot it down in my phone to come back to later and deal with later. But do you see how like the power automatically goes from like, oh my God, this person's making me feel like this, to, oh, okay, this person has triggered something that was already within me. Now it's my responsibility if I choose to continue to feel like this for the rest of the day and like go into the downward spiral, or I can choose to create something out of it. I can create a learning experience out of it. I can create whatever I want out of it. I can create an even deeper relationship with myself out of this experience that I have also on some level created. All of this stuff is like such a mind fuck. And I want you guys to, like, as you're listening to this, just open to receive it on a heart and like energetic level, rather than like also like conceive of it on a mental level, but know that you don't have to understand it in order to receive this transmission. So where else has my child shadow been showing up? Another big piece of this is like, oh, there's so much. There's so much. Oh my gosh, this piece dropped in for me so clearly the other day. Another big piece of this, and we'll see how we go. This is the last piece I talk about. One of the other big pieces of this is looking at other people. Full stop. If you are looking to other people for anything more than like a cursory scroll, like a cursory glance, or you're like recruiting them for some reason because like they have something that could be really helpful to your mission, your purpose, anything other than that, you're in your child. So the child, Lorna describes it really beautifully. She talks about it as being like the child having a fit or a tantrum over someone else having their toy. And so the child doesn't understand that there are more than enough resources in the world for all of us. There is more than enough to go around, that I can have something and it does not diminish your ability to have something. And the way that I actually described this the other day was, if you think about stars in the sky, there are billions of stars in our galaxy, in our known galaxy that we know of. If you look up at the sky at nighttime, you could probably count 100,000 of them, right? The stars are not up there jostling, hustling, and competing for attention with one another. They fundamentally just, I'm personifying the stars, but go with me in this metaphor. They fundamentally understand that there is more than enough space. There is an ever-expanding space. The sky is like if you think about the universe is expanding, there's actually more than enough space for all of them, and it's continually getting bigger every single day or every single second. For all of them to be fully themselves, to explode in as much light as they want to and shine as brightly as they want to without having to steal, compete, or like jostle for space in the sky. How cool is that? Like, imagine that you are your own galaxy. You're actually your own galaxy, but just imagine for a second that you are a star in this infinite galaxy. And why would you, for even a split second, waste your time or pour energy into the illusion or the thought that someone else could take your space in the sky, or that you could take someone else's space in the sky, or that you have to, for some like unfathomable reason, like jostle or compete for attention and space in the sky? They can have something that you want and you can have it. You don't have to take it from them. If you are like, this is where it gets into the nitty gritty. Even yesterday, I realized that even like scrolling through Instagram and looking at what other people have and then having that voice in your head that's like, oh, why do they have that and I don't? Like, that's not fair. That's the child. As soon as you hear like, that's not fair, it's like, this is just mind-blowing stuff, right? I'm catching myself in every single little moment with every single thought that goes through my head. I'm so onto this now, you guys. Like literally every thought. I'm bringing awareness to every thought and the tone and frequency of my thoughts. So it's not enough just to say, okay, well, this is the thought that's running through my head. You'll start to pick up and you start to feel the tone, the frequency, and the vibration of different thoughts as they come into your awareness, and the vibration, tone, and frequency of your consciousness. So a really cool example of this is the other day I noticed that it'll start with like looking at my behaviors. So I'll be sitting on the couch and be like, okay, cool. So I could be doing something right now. I could be working. I could be building my vision. I could be like, leaving a lasting legacy right now. Why aren't I? And I'll tune in and I'll start to pick up on this like underlying sense of like, oh, yeah, I shouldn't have to do that. Oh, that feels gross. Oh my God, I don't want to. Oh my God, this feels awful. Oh, this is so gross. Why do I have to do this? This is so ugly. This is so disgusting. Like this kind of like, what? And I can start to feel it in my body. This is the child. This is the sense of the child feels very, very entitled, right? Because it doesn't understand. It doesn't have any power to make its dreams come true. So it thinks the only way that it can get what it wants is to lie, manipulate, sneak around to other people, or sit on its like little princess throne in its little princess castle and be like, just give me. And this is like a clue to another one of the archetypes, which is the prostitute, that then sells itself for really, really cheap because it thinks that's the only way that it can get what it wants. So the child and the prostitute kind of go hand in hand in that sense. But what we want to step into is the lover and the queen, the sovereign. So the lover and the sovereign. The lover is very much like, well, it is very much of this is what I value and this is what I will afford. And then the queen comes in and is like, this is the truth. This is who I really am. This is who I am. And I'm going to make all my dreams come true because I have the power to do that. And then it activates the warrior, which activates the magician. So it's really fun. We're going to get to those. Like I'm still getting to those, like a full embodied, grounded knowledge and understanding and practice and experience of those. But one of the things that I noticed was like the child in me, or the child shadow, it's not really in me. It's just was in my fields and clearing it in the process and alchemizing it into the sovereign energy. Because the child is just the sovereign who's forgotten who she really is. Right? And so it's not like this, and this is like actually just landing now, this is really cool. It's not like this adversarial thing of like fighting each other because there's no contest. There's absolutely no contest. this comes back to what we were saying about the stars in the sky. When it comes to your like shadow archetypes and your light archetypes, there is no contest. The queen, the lover, the queen, the warrior, and the magician have the power. So they won't, this is where it's important not to have these like inner conflicts in your head of like, well, I say this, no. It's no. It's like you stand in that place, and if you can't like imagine it yet, just try. You stand in that place of your queen, your powerful queen, warrior, sovereign, lover energy, and you decree and you force. It's not even force. It's not even the right word. It's just you decree that the shadows submit to you, because the illusion, it has no power. And what's likely been happening in your life at the moment, and this is what Lorna talks about in her book, The Dark Secret, is that you've been allowing these illusions that actually have no power. You've been giving them power, and you've been giving them the power to make decisions in your life. You've been believing them. And the only difference between someone who's like operating in these shadowy archetypes and then operating their light archetypes is that they choose to take their belief from here to here. And they choose to take their power from here in the shadowy, murky depths to here where it belongs and where it resides. And so when you're speaking to your shadow archetypes, you're not coddling them. You're not saying, okay, well, you know, I see your point, but this, and this. Okay, well, I can see where you're coming from there. I could see how you would, like, no. It's just like, this is the truth. And you have the power to do that. You have the power to alchemize all of your shadows by making them submit to the truth. So when we talk about like the child and the sovereign, that's huge, right? That's really huge. We're talking about, we're not even taking the power away. Like we are, but we're not, because the power was never there. It's just reinstating the power of the sovereign to come in and say, I'm responsible for my well-being. This is what I declare. This is what I decree over my kingdom. This is what I will allow. This is what I won't allow. And then there's so many more things. Like there's so much to go into on this, you guys. But just as like a personal, this is just what I'm talking about in my life. Even looking at other people, even looking at other like people's Instagram, being like, that's not fair. They have this. No, like it's all the child. Like they've got a toy. Why can't I have that toy? Like, no. The sovereign knows she has the power. Like I know I have the power to create everything that I could ever want, dream, imagine, create, whatever. Everything that I value, I can create. It doesn't mean that, and this is something that dropped in for me this morning, like it doesn't mean that I'm like a kid in a candy store running around being like, oh my God, I can have whatever I want. Like you can, but then there's only so much of, this is interesting. Okay, so maybe like a part of this is, I'm just like kind of playing with this idea now. This kid in the candy store is still very much a prostitute because it doesn't know what it wants. The lover, the archetype of the lover, I know exactly what I want. And this is something Lorna said the other day just for me. You know exactly what you want. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to write out a list. In every single moment, you know exactly what you want and what you value in that moment. Oh, so cool. So cool. So this is powerful stuff, right? And I want you guys, I'm still like, I'm getting this. I'm getting it now. And it's taken me like probably a year of studying this material to actually fully like actualize it in the world and get it in my life and embodied in every single facet of every single part of my life experience and my day and my beliefs and my choices and my behaviors. Because this is how we make energy matter, right? Through our choices, through our decisions, through our beliefs and our behaviors. Like we take energy and we make it matter. That's why it's like one of the most powerful things that I've learned how to say is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And this is a really beautiful, we're getting more, I think this is the more victim into the warrior now of like choosing and deciding what you're going to give your energy and attention. No, the ability to, I wonder if this is a queen because it's decreeing and declaring what it is that you value. Maybe that's the lover. See, this stuff is like, it's so intricate, but it's so fun to get your head around. Once you actually, no, it's just fun. If you decide to make it fun, it's going to be fun, and I choose to make it fun. But like having the ability, sometimes I literally just say like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. An obstacle comes up, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to make it matter by continually feeding into it words, thoughts, energy, attention. So when people talk about like casting spells with your words, like we have the power to declare and decree what matters. So if you're going around like speaking into things being like, this sucks and this sucks, and no, like you decide what matters. When you speak it into existence, you want to make it's one step closer to becoming matter. So really keep that in mind. This is such a fun live. Oh my gosh. I want to talk about this stuff all the time. It's so beautiful. I'm in my office. Well, I'm in my mum's office. She has started a business with my little sister, and it's, I'm not going to use this to plug their business, but you can see them on my Instagram. It's called Little Wise One, and they're children's affirmation cards, and they're so beautiful. But let's talk about my business, because it's more important to me. It's more important for me. One of the things that's been coming up for me, it's one of the things that I value really deeply is transparency and vulnerability. And I suppose I don't need to just tell you that. I can just show you. One of the things that's been really hard for me in the past is building a business that I actually love and making money doing what I love. So I've, again, looked to the outside world and been like, well, they're doing it. Like, oh my God, they're doing it. With this undercurrent of like, well, if they, like, how come I can't? Like, that's not fair. Like, how come they can do it and I can't? And it's this really like harrowing, like, realization and unveiling when I realized just how much of my energy I've given, or how much of my power I've given to that belief of like, I can't do this. It's like one of Rupi Kaur's beautiful quotes that I read in her book the other day was like, you have everything to gain from believing in yourself, and yet you spend all your time in self-doubt. And I was like, holy shit. I've doubted myself so much and doubted my abilities and second-guessed myself. I've also like created some really, really epic stuff, but in the past, I haven't valued it nearly as much as I could have. And some of that has been like completely unconscious because I just didn't even know. Like, I didn't know what I knew, right? How's that for a mind fuck? Another part of it is then I consciously, like, I wasn't prepared to sacrifice, or like to pay the price for valuing myself. So I wasn't prepared to like pay the cost, and now I am. And that's just the difference, is like, you just decide. I've just decided that in the past, I wasn't like willing to stand in the truth of what I was worth and what I really valued and how valuable I am. And so I, like, you know, I would sell my services for really cheap, and I would like do things that I didn't really want to do because I thought I had to get like worth and value and attention and approval and praise and validation. And now it's like, actually, I will do whatever it takes. I will sacrifice anything for my values, worth, desires, and self-expression. And so I know what I'm worth, and this is what I value. This is what I value, and this is incredibly, incredibly valuable. And like allowing that to be reflected in my pricing, in my, you know, the structure of my business, in everything that I create, even putting this out into the world, like knowing that it is incredibly inherently valuable. I know that. I know it is. And I'm knowing it and allowing that to sink into my cells, and allowing that to be the truth that vibrates in my whole energetic field, no matter what. And it's committing to valuing it no matter what. And this is the piece that has really sunk in for me lately, is no matter what would seek to, you know, what might come against me, which often is just like, it's our own like beliefs or our own like previous patterns, our own tendency to devalue ourselves, which is like, you know, like the only thing stopping you is you, the only thing holding you back is you. It's just ridiculous. So even if I, as in the shadow, tries to like negotiate, tries to get me to compromise, tries to get me to lower my prices or like change my whatever because it doesn't believe in itself, no, the lover stands firmly in that and says, no, this is what I value. I will afford whatever is required to be true to myself and my soul. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Like it's dropping in for me now as I speak it, which is really beautiful. I will afford, say with me, I will afford whatever is required to be true to myself and my soul. I don't even care what it costs. I don't care. Like that's the love of energy. It's like, I don't even care. Like, why would I look at the price tag? I equate it now with like when you're shopping, you don't look at the price tag. Like if you have to look at the price tag, then you can't afford it. And not because necessarily you don't have the money in your account, but you don't have the mindset that it takes to create the money or whatever it is that you need to pay for that thing that you want. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. So it's like, yeah. I mean, how can I say it? Like any other way. If you need to look at the price tag, then you don't have it. Like you don't have it. The lover energy, and this is what's available to you. It doesn't mean you can't have it. It doesn't mean you won't step into it. But if you have to look at the price, then you don't. It's like I actually messaged someone the other day to ask how much their coaching package was. And I was like, if I'm asking how much, then I can't afford it. Meaning I'm unwilling to do what it takes to create and receive the money to be able to pay for it. Yeah. Walking through the world, walking to like, and I've actually done this before, taking the lifts to the escalator to the top level of Saks Fifth Avenue on Beverly Hills. What's the shopping strip? Beverly Hills, Hollywood. Oh, I'll get it later. And looking at all and picking out the designer dresses and then going and trying them on and then walking straight to the register. I haven't done this bit yet, but I will. Walking straight to the register and then not even blinking, not even flinching, not even batting an eyelid when they tell you the price and handing over your card or cash and saying, this is what I will afford. Oh, that's just like, that's so cool. That's just like, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's that's such a cool feeling. And that's such a cool way to live. Like imagine living like that. I can now. I truly can. And it's like, it's in every single decision is that like that can become your reality. Every single decision. This is what I value. This is what I will afford. Oh, I'm just like, yeah, it's powerful stuff. It's like, I can just feel like even my head's kind of like, all like my brain's like skitzing out a little bit because yeah, it's reprogramming. Like you're literally reprogramming your entire your thoughts and your neural pathways, which then creates everything else. So you're energetic, like your signature. So cool. What else? I think that's honestly, that's it. Yeah, this is what I value and this is what I value and this is it. Thank you for being here. I hope that you've gotten as much out of this live as I have in like actually expressing it and putting it out into the world. I'm so excited to share this with all of my audience and with all of my beautiful humans. And it just stay tuned. Like it feels really good. There's something so beautiful that's like birthing and we're creating right now. And it feels like it's built on more solid and stable ground than anything I've ever built before. And it feels like I get what people said when they, when in the Bible it talks about building like houses upon stone and rock. Is that, yeah, because if it's on sand, then it like blows away. I think that's also, I'm getting confused with the Three Little Pigs. But you know what I mean? Like when you have, you're anchored in the truth and your whole life is built on solid energetic ground, which is the truth. There's nothing more solid that you could build an entire life upon than the truth, right? The truth of who you really are and what's really going on here in this whole existence, in this whole reality. So a life built on that, a business built on that, relationships built on that, a structure that is so energetically sound. Oh, that's so cool. Sound. A structure that's so energetically sound that it thrums with a beautiful hum and frequency and vibration of the truth. How could anything be more beautiful? How could anything be more safe and secure? How could anything be more stable than this? It's so good. It's so good. Okay. Hallelujah. God bless. You are God. Remember, you are the source of your own power and well-being. Absolutely nothing and no one has power over you. I will see you in my next video. I love you guys. I love you so much. I hope you're having the most beautiful, beautiful day. And if you're not, then go and have a beautiful day. Go and change it. Go and completely turn it around and have a beautiful day. I love you and I will talk to you soon.